Well, we're back in KZN. We're back at Hollywood Bets Greyville, and we're back on the Poly after a very good, favourable day for punters by and large. On a Sunday, we're back on the Poly track, and today, well, let's see exactly what our analyst has to make of the card that awaits us as of 12:35. Now, 12:35. Do take note of that time. It is the start of the bipod 8 races carded there, as will be the case tomorrow when we talk about turpentine racing on the inside track. Well, without much ado, let us go to Len and bid him a very good morning, and good to catch up with you again, Len.
Good morning, Cecil. Yes, nice to be chatting to you again. We've got an 8-race program, so bipod starts off in race 1. And Cecil, look, of the race runners, I think 4 horses look to be in with a genuine winning chance. And it's a case of who takes to the Poly best. My first narrow choice would be the 8 horse Yeah Baby. We ran a very creditable race on debut in finishing 4th after being bumped just after the start. And she should make a good improvement with that run under her belt. Then the 5 horse Willow Valley ran on well to take second place behind Sweet Green last time, so she warrants respect. Along with the 7 horse Asgardian Queen and 1 Blazing Bell. We don't know how good the first timer is, Interstellar. And the only other runner to mention would be the 3 horse. That's a Gimme who comes from Cape Town. She hasn't shown too much, but perhaps she takes to the Poly. But I think with the 4 horses in the bipod, we should be reasonably safe here.
Thank you so much, Len. 192 Rand is that bipod. Again, a reminder, 12:35 is the start to that exotic. 1, 5, 7, and 8. And then we have a banker to discuss, and that'll be in legs 2 and 4, the 7 and the 3, respectively. 12:35. That is the start of our racing at Hollywood Bets Greyville on the Poly. Okay, so straight into our second exotic of the afternoon, and that is the place accumulator, starting with the running of race number 2. Now we go into a race populated by winners and a competitive starter to our PA. And just looking at the betting, a quick look at the betting, we've got favoritism, and that will be pretty tight. That's with number 3, Treasure Island. Now, Treasure Island will be trying the Poly track for the first time. I actually see that has been superseded by the 5 Gold Baby overnight, who is now 2-1. Treasure Island, that is now at 15-4 with the 7. That is Blue Poppy, also at 15-4. And then you've got 11-2 about number 4, and that is Dancing in Denmark. Now, Mr. Mayu, does it worry you that Treasure Island hasn't had the go on the Poly, or that transition should be as smooth as silk?
Well, Cecil, it always worries me when they haven't raced on the Poly before. But yes, she has the form and she should be in the shake-up. I'm with the 7 horse, the Blue Poppy. You know, she's a very genuine filly. And although she's giving weight to the whole field, I do feel that she will take some beating. She was very unlucky last time, as she got hampered shortly after the start. And she was only beaten half a length on that day. She was running on strongly. And she also enjoys the Poly. So for that reason, I've sided with her, yeah. With the scratching of the 6, there's only 6 runners. So hopefully she can get us through the bipod. There are 2 dangers, obviously, Gold Baby and Treasure Island. But I do think Blue Poppy will be a big runner.
Thank you so much. That's the banker we saw in the bipod. That was in leg 2, is now a banker in that opening leg of the PA. Again, the outlay is 324 Rand. Time to take note of for this class 4 for fillies and mares over the 1600 meters is 10 past 1, 13:10. Back down to maidens for the first leg of the place. Pick 6, my apologies. That is race number 3. It is over the 1600 meters. Once again, a field of fillies and mares to face up. And the favorite is number 5, Princess Trippy, whom I see our tipster, our KZN expert, Jermaine Maharaj, has made his best for the afternoon. That is from the Wendy Whitehead stable in the colors of the Drakensteen. And that is at 16-10. Number 2, Chook's Kiss. That is second favorite at 28-10. And then it's 3-1 about the 3, and that is Chihiro. And that is from the Lucinda Woodruff stable. 11-1 and better bar those. If you had to side with the one singular horse, are you in agreement with Jermaine that Princess Trippy looks a hard horse to beat?
Well, Cecil, I thought there were three runners that had winning chances here. And my vote actually goes to the informed stable of Lucinda Woodruff and her charge, number 3, Chihiro. She ran her best race to date last time after starting slow and ran on nicely towards the end of the race. And she'll be well suited to the extra 200 meters here. Then, of course, the 5-horse Princess Trippy, she's placed in her last 5 runs and is obviously the one to beat. But then also the 2, Chook's Kiss, comes into it. She's knocking on the door and can't be left out. So I would include all 3 runners.
All 3 runners included in that first leg of the pick six. And interesting about the Lucinda Woodruff runner, the 3, Chihiro, there's a half sibling who runs in the first, and that is Interstellar. That is from the Adamazi stable. Is a Vercingetorix, and this is a daughter of William Longsword. So let's see if the siblings do fly the flag for the mare there. That is Intergalactic. Off time to race number 3, 13:45. Well, Len sided with the Woodruff runner in a race number 3 as a marginal first choice in a field that is to be dominated by 3 runners. Well, in race number 4, the betting would suggest that Lucinda will certainly be the one to beat in race number 4 with the 3, Ibisu, looking to make it back-to-back victories on the poly track, and that is currently at 7-10 or thereabouts. As far as second favoritism is concerned, it's number 1, a Golden Angel, and that is a 28-10, and then it is 13-1 and a better bar those. Now, as far as the 3 Ibisu goes, Calamari retains the ride. He was aboard when they tried the poly for the first time over the shorter trip of 1,800 meters, and nothing to suggest that the extra 200 should hold any fears, Len. 8, Another Dream, the stable companion, is a scratching, so it leaves us another field of 7 runners. Is this a banker? I think it was a banker somewhere.
Yes, for me, Cecil, she's a banker, and I don't think that extra 200 is going to worry her. In fact, she was actually running away from them at the finish, so she was very impressive last time. And actually, if you remember, when she went down, she was sweating badly, and it actually put me off, to be honest. But the way she came back clearly had no effect on her. No, I really do think she'll take a lot of beating. The obvious danger is the 1-horse Golden Angel, who's in great form at the moment. But I do feel that she may be hard-pressed to beat Ibisu if Ibisu brings that same performance back today. If she repeats that run, I think she'll win again.
Okay, so 3 from 1 would be the suggestion if you were going to try and beat the 3, or at least go for an exacta horse. That would be number 1. 180 Rand is the outlay to that total jackpot. We are covered in the remaining 3 legs. Ibisu carries the hopes of that first jackpot off at 14.20. We have another jackpot to look forward to, and that starts as we get into the second half of an 8-race program. That is race number 5. Now, race number 5, let us see exactly who's favorite. Well, it is going to be a tight race. I think one of the more keenly contested races that lies ahead. Runner for Rio. Tristan Gordon aboard once again for the stable of Stuart Ferry. Looks for that 5th win from 38 outings. Tristan has been aboard on 1 occasion when it's won. Has ridden it 6 times, but has also placed on 4 other occasions. That's your favorite at 28-10. And then number 6, that is a Pleased to See You. That is at 4-1. Also 4-1 is number 5, a Navajo Dancer. Now the 1, Ultra Quick, with an Ultra in for Mr. De Mello. Alison Wright aboard. Now, Mr. De Mello has also been aboard the horse 10 times for a win, a 2nd, a 3rd, and 3/4. That is currently at 5-1 along with the 7, and that is Got the Word also at 5-1. Scratches the 3, Pembury, Mr. Mayhew. Your first choice, Run to Rio. Is it going to be a case of running on too late, which seems to have been the case in the days gone by?
Yes, Cecil, I don't have a strong outright choice here. Look, it's a small but competitive field. Look, Ultra Quick, he's in good form at the moment, and he looks to have a chance of scoring a hat-trick. Then the 6-horse, Pleased to See You. He'll be having his 3rd run after a rest, and he can go close. And then obviously Run to Rio, who's been knocking at the door, and he's definitely an inclusion. There are others to include an exotic, which is the 5, the 7, and the 8. Navajo Dancer, Got the Word, and McCarty. They're all capable on their day. So I've included all 6 runners in the jackpot in pick 6.
No, that's the way to go. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is the first leg of that jackpot. The second jackpot, the outlay, total outlay is 360 Rand. It's a class 5. Race 5 gets underway at 5 minutes to 3. Well, we've got those pick threes on the go as of race 1. The last chance to get involved in a pick 3 is with race number 6. Now, race number 6, this is a online form guide at www.gallop.co.za. Class 5 over the 1400 meters. Now, Sunday, Mr. Yogo's governor took one runner to the races and it ended up in the winner's box at very good odds. He's got a short price favorite who's been knocking on the door for quite some time, and that's the 4, Sail to the Moon. As was the case on Sunday, he's engaged the services of a promising claimant, that is Damien Pillay, on the 4, Sail to the Moon, who is at 5 to 2. Number 1 is the second favorite at 7 to 2, and that is Meerkat Moon. 4 to 1 is the number 9, Music is Alive, and then you've got 8 to 1 and Better Bar those. Sail to the Moon. Well, everything points to this 5-year-old son of Kerari finally getting that overdue next win on the Poly, Mr. Mayhew.
Cecil, I thought there were a few in with chances here. But look, if I had to side with one, it would be Sail to the Moon. But a lot depends on whether he jumps or not on terms. You know, he gives away, he's got a tendency to lose valuable ground at the start. And it's difficult to give start at Gravel on the Poly track. You know, if he loses 1 or 2 lengths there, to try and make it up in the straight is not easy. So I can see this race, there could be a surprise in this race. I've opted to go along with 5 runners, Meerkat Moon, Sail to the Moon, Winter Waves, Rafiki, and Music is Life. I see there's been a nibble on Music of Life as well in the betting. So I would include all 5 in perms.
Okay, and then you've suggested an exacta box for us, 1, 4, 5, and 9. That is Len Mayhew and his thoughts to race number 6. That is race 6, 3:30. The carded off time to our anti-penultimate race. We get to race number 7, scratched as a 5, 7 and no trumps. And again, we're left with a field of a 7 on this Wednesday card at Hollywood Bets Gravel, where we're racing on the Poly. This is a class 4, and we drop down to 1,200 meters. Now, the favoritism in race number 7, another competitive event, is the 3, Red Bomber. Alison Wright and Keegan DeMello once again in the colours of Mr. Sugalam, Vernus family, and Mr. LW and Mrs. NJ Everett Hall. That is a weak favourite at 33 to 10, co-favourite with the 2, and that is Bangkok Magic from the Snake stable. 4 to 1 is a 4, Chicarito. And then the 7, that is Paratrooper from the Marshall stable. That is at 9 to 2. Right, Mr. Mayhew, I see that form line, Chicarito's last form line. Well, that was well franked in an impressive fashion by the runner-up on the last occasion that Chicarito won, and that is stable companion Bangladesh, whom most people seem to rave about after that win on Sunday under Craig Zaki.
Yes, Cecil, look, he's a good improving 3-year-old, so definitely one to follow, Chicarito. But my choice here is the 6-horse United Nation. He drops back to a C-class event. You know, he's been racing predominantly in the B classes. You know, and I think he can get back on the winning trail. He's been racing against quite a bit stronger than he meets here. So I do think he'll take a lot of beating, and he's at a reasonable price. I think he's around 6 to 1. Obviously, Bangkok Magic, you know, he ran at an impressive winner last time over the course and distance, and he deserves respect. And then the other 2, Red Bomber, Red Bomber is another obvious inclusion. So for me, I've gone along with, I think there's 5 horses there, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 in the pick 6. Just to make note that in the second jackpot, it was quite expensive, so I try to cut it down to my top 3 choices. But I see there has been a scratching of the 5 or 7 no trump. So if punters want to include the other 2, the 3 and the 7, by all means go ahead. But it is a rather expensive jackpot perm.
Well, they say fortune favors the brave. Maybe you have to spend a little, but it is midweek, mid-month. Yeah, it is hard to actually outlay too much, but let's hope that it comes through. 6 is the runner of choice, good value at 6 to 1, United Nations, a 4-year-old son of One World. and that will be the Vesha Ramkalawan for the stable of Daryl Moore. That is our second last off at 4:05. Well, if you're looking to race that as a get-out stakes, you really have to pull all the stops out to get the right formula. I think the betting will be just the example as to how competitive race number 8 is. It's 9-2 the field. That is numbers 8 and 10. They're both at 9-2. Capellino and Bless Me Fred. That's Calvin Abib and Rachel Fenniger respectively for Wendy Whitehead and Mace Roberts once again respectively. And then it is 5-1 about numbers 6 rather. That is Victor Rail, and also at 5-1 is number 9 Klopsy. And 6-1 is number 3, Trafalgar Square. Well, I think I have to stop there and give you the floor. I think you're going to need all the time you need to give us a winning formula here to a quartet, perhaps, for race number 8, Len.
Well, Cecil, I hope I can do that. Look, it's a very tricky Class E event, and there's quite a few in with chances here. But I'm siding with the 7-year-old gelding, number 3, Trafalgar Square. You know, he really runs a bad race, and, he deserves another win. So, and with Keegan up today, I think he's going to run a big race. The 6 horse Victor Rail likes the course and distance, and he should be involved in the finish again. Excuse me. But then the likes of Bless Me Fred have to go in. He's drawn a little bit wider. That was why I tended to go with the 3 horse Trafalgar Square as my first choice. And then Capellino, he's another very consistent horse. So for me, hopefully the winner will come from one of those 4 runners.
3, 6, 8 and 10. The winner should come out of those. And just remind you that the co-favorites are the 8 and 10 Capellino and Bless Me Fred. They have met, they have crossed swords at field of 8, at a field of 10 rather, and at least 5 of them have met when Bless Me Fred won the race, and that was on the 10th of June. Very much obliged to Len for his time and his selections for the Greyville meeting, which starts at 12:35, the first of 8. So please be on with that bipod by the time they are called back for that first of 8.